I'm thinking that as more and more comes out, he will be more privy to be sharing things about the royal family and trading secrets for cash.
Well, he's a private individual now, Samara. Do you know about this? It's like we were investigating his new property up in Sandringham. We believe it's a place called Marsh Farm, but we're told by the palace that they cannot comment because there's GDPR, which is like data protection rules, and that he's a private individual. Does he now deserve to be a private individual, to live a private life up in Sandringham without us asking questions about where he lives, and should he speak to the police?
It is supposed to be one of the warmest, most reassuring moments on the royal calendar. Each year, the King's pre-Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace is staged as a polished tableau of harmony, a carefully captured ritual designed to project closeness, continuity, and seasonal goodwill. Senior royals arrive first, smiling on cue. The extended family follows. And the unspoken message is always identical. Everything inside the House of Windsor is stable, united, and under control. But this year, one image quietly shattered that illusion. As the Prince and Princess of Wales led arrivals in London, and as Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were photographed glowing with laughter as they stepped into the festivities, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was nowhere near the palace gates. Instead, cameras caught him miles away, alone on horseback, riding through the rain in Windsor Great Park, a scene so stark it felt almost deliberately staged. Isolated, removed, visually out of place. And according to one royal watcher, that moment may not have been accidental at all. The photographs released that day were striking in their bleakness. Andrew moved slowly through sodden ground, rain visibly collecting on the brim of his riding hat before streaking down his face. His posture was rigid, upright yet tense. His expression unreadable, unsmiling. No companion. No exchange. No hint of enjoyment. Just a solitary figure cutting through cold, gray weather, while the rest of his family gathered for a celebration he did not attend, and notably, was not invited to. Body language and communications expert Judy James was quick to interpret the imagery. Commenting on the photographs, she said Andrew appeared to have gone full-on Marley's ghost, describing the scene as intentionally bleak, almost theatrical in its gloom. She pointed out the complete absence of pleasure or exhilaration, noting that he simply sat in the saddle, motionless in emotion, projecting solemnity rather than escape. But her observation went deeper than his mood alone. It was about contrast. At that exact same moment, Andrew's daughters were being photographed stepping out of warm cars, smiling and laughing, wrapped in festive coats as they arrived at the palace, embraced by light, warmth, and inclusion, while their father remained outside the frame, in the cold, watching from a distance he could not cross. At Buckingham Palace. And according to Judy James, that visual split between father and daughters was so extreme that it risked communicating something far more loaded than quiet dignity. In her view, it bordered on emotional pressure. She was direct about it. When you don't want the people closest to you to feel conflicted or guilty about attending a gathering you've been excluded from, you usually demonstrate resilience. You appear comfortable. You signal acceptance. You make it clear you're coping just fine. You don't place yourself in a position that turns you into a living emblem of rejection. And yet, James suggested that is precisely what Andrew appeared to do. Of course, Andrew's absence from the King's pre-Christmas lunch was not unexpected. He has not attended for several years. Since his removal from royal duties, the loss of his titles, and the ongoing fallout tied to his association with Jeffrey Epstein, his exclusion from high-profile family events has become standard. What made this moment different wasn't the absence itself, it was the timing. The lunch came as renewed scrutiny continues to gather around Andrew's past, with further Epstein-related material reportedly set to resurface, and with the King having already drawn a very clear line in public. Charles has previously described Andrew as having committed serious lapses of judgment. He has openly aligned himself with survivors of abuse. The message from the monarch has been consistent and unmistakable. There is no ambiguity. Andrew is out, but his daughters are not. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie remain firmly within the royal circle. Both attended the lunch. Both were photographed smiling. Both continue to appear at royal engagements when they choose to. And that distinction is crucial. Observers will recall that last year, neither Andrew nor Sarah Ferguson were present at Christmas celebrations. This year, the pattern has repeated itself. The former Duke of York and his ex-wife are excluded, but their daughters are treated entirely differently. According to long-standing royal commentary, King Charles is known to be close to both Beatrice and Eugenie and has made a deliberate effort not to hold them accountable for the actions of their parents. In practical terms, that means invitations still arrive for them, even when none come for Andrew. Which brings the focus back to that rain-soaked ride. Some have suggested Andrew's decision to ride that day was nothing more than routine. But in a family where symbolism is never accidental, even routine choices can carry weight. He is known to love horse riding, and Windsor Great Park is familiar ground, a place he has returned to countless times over the years. Some have argued the timing was nothing more than an unfortunate coincidence. A routine ride, misread by circumstance. But to Judy James and other royal observers, the moment felt anything but random. She described Andrew's expression as jaw clenched, eyes fixed straight ahead, signaling resolve rather than acceptance. Not a man retreating, but a man pressing forward. Against the weather. Against the moment. Against how it would inevitably look. In her interpretation, the image projected solitary endurance, almost engineered to sit in stark opposition to the warmth, safety, and comfort his daughters were experiencing just miles away. Whether that contrast was intentional or not, its impact was undeniable. The phrase, Marley's ghost, lingered for a reason. It captured the sense of a presence hovering at the margins of a celebration he could no longer enter. Watching. Circling. Permanently outside the door. And it raised an uncomfortable possibility. Was Andrew trying to communicate something? The suggestion was that the imagery itself could function as a silent message to his daughters, one designed not through words, but through optics. A visual that might provoke guilt, hesitation, or emotional conflict about attending family events without him. Andrew has offered no comment on the photographs. His motivation for writing that day remains officially unknown. But within royal life, symbolism has always spoken louder than statements, and this symbolism was impossible to ignore. There is also a looming practical reality behind the images. Andrew is widely believed to be entering his final weeks at Royal Lodge, the expansive 30-room residence in Windsor he has occupied for years. Multiple reports suggest he is being forced to downsize, preparing to relocate to a far smaller property on the King's private Sandringham estate in the new year. Some of his belongings are already said to be in storage, quietly signaling that the transition is underway. The scale of that change is profound. Royal Lodge represents status, permanence, and proximity to power. The Sandringham accommodation reportedly waiting for him does not. For a man once positioned near the center of the monarchy, the move is more than logistical, it is symbolic. Another marker of decline. Another chapter closing. In that context, the rain-soaked ride feels heavier still. Not just excluded from a lunch, but approaching the end of an era altogether. Inside the palace, meanwhile, life continued uninterrupted. The king hosted the lunch as planned. The Prince and Princess of Wales led proceedings. Extended family members arrived smiling. Cameras flashed. The image of festive continuity held firm. Even within Andrew's own household, the contrast was clear. Princess Beatrice attended the lunch, but her husband did not. Shortly after photographs surfaced of her arriving alone, he posted on Instagram, revealing he was in Los Angeles. He tagged his design firm, Bandero Properties, explaining he was in California for work meetings, a reminder that within royal marriages, separate schedules and professional commitments are normal. For Andrew, though, absence carried a different meaning. This was not a diary clash. It was a boundary, clearly drawn, and notably unsoftened. No alternate engagement, no quiet acknowledgement, no public olive branch. Just silence, rain, and a solitary ride captured from a distance. Some royal watchers interpret this as the institution holding its line. Others see it as a boundary now firmly set. Andrew remains physically close to royal life in Windsor, in familiar landscapes, yet socially and symbolically removed. Present but excluded. Nearby but separate. And perhaps most striking of all is how little effort is being made to mask that reality anymore. In previous years, absences were often explained away, managed discreetly, or softened through careful messaging. This time, the contrast was allowed to unfold in public. The images were released. The commentary followed. And so far, no one has moved to correct the narrative. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, once a central royal figure, now rides alone through the rain while his family gathers without him. So the question remains, was that image a moment of genuine solitude? Or a carefully chosen act of silent messaging? And as the royal family looks ahead to Christmas at Sandringham, is Andrew's isolation now permanent? Or is there still a path, however narrow, back to the outer edges of royal life? Let me know what you think. And for more updates like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.